Hello, welcome to my channel, and for my subscribers, welcome back. Today we're going to continue with the theme of summertime desserts, and for this video, the dessert of choice, it will be no-bake key lime pie. And we're going to get right into it, and we're going to start off with crushing our graham crackers in order to make our crumbs for our crust. And I'm using a food processor to do this, and if you don't have a food processor, you can also put the crackers in a storage bag and crush them with a rolling pin or a mallet. And as far as the graham crackers themselves, you can buy the box of crumbs at the store already made, or you can buy graham crackers and crush them yourself, as I'm doing. Or if you're feeling real bold, you can visit my page and I have a great homemade graham cracker recipe, and you can use that for this pie as well. So I broke up the graham crackers into two batches because I'm using a fairly small food processor. Made a bit of a mess there, but we're going to keep it moving. And we're going to finish up with grinding the last of those crackers. And we're going to place them into the bowl. And that's how your graham cracker crumbs should look once you're done crushing them. So now we're going to add 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then we're going to mix everything until it's combined. And then once we finish doing that, we're going to add our melted butter. For our graham cracker crust, we're going to use a 1/2 cup of melted unsalted butter. And we're just going to mix that in until it's combined. And you want the graham cracker crumbs to have a sandy-like texture, as you see in the video. That's the texture you want for your crust. I move the bowl over to the side, and I'm going to bring over my pie plate. It is a 9-inch pie plate that I'm using, and I'm going to pour the crumbs into the pie plate. And what we're going to do now is form our crust for the pie. And we're going to pour all the crumbs in there at once. All right, and now that we got all the crumbs in there, we're going to shake around the pie plate to spread the crumbs around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bottom of a glass in order to form the crust. So I'm going to pack everything down with the glass, as well as shape up the edges of the crust with the bottom of the glass as well. And that's how your crust should look once you form it. Crust in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 hours. Now moving on to our next subject. This is going to be controversial. So what I'm showing you is a bottle of key lime juice made by a company by the name of Nelly and Joe's. They're a company based out of South Florida, also known as the region where key limes originate. This is a key lime juice that is very popular amongst people who make and eat key lime pies. And you'll have some purists who will insist that you shouldn't use bottled juice for your key lime pie. Me personally, it doesn't matter. If you want to use bottled juice, by all means do so. It's much easier than using all of these limes you see on the screen. So I have a pound of key limes, which we're going to use all of those in this video to make the key lime pie. And you're going to see in a little bit why you may even prefer using the bottled key lime juice, because it's going to take much less effort in order to make the key lime pie just by using the juice in the bottle. So we're going to move on now to making our juice. So first we're going to clean our limes, and what I'm doing is I'm adding 4 cups of water to a bowl. And once I add that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of baking soda. This is to deep clean the limes. And once I add that, I'm going to let them sit for 12 to 15 minutes. So we're going to move them over, and then I've already rinsed them off screen after letting them rest in the baking soda water for 12 to 15 minutes. So they're good and clean now. And next, what we're going to do before we juice the limes, we're going to zest them. That's part of the ingredient for our key lime pie. So I have my zester there. And for this recipe, you're going to use around 1 tablespoon of lime zest, which is equivalent to 6 to 7 key limes. So as you can see, I'm zesting the first lime. And you have to be careful when you're zesting the lime, because you only want to zest the outer skin. You see the white part on the screen? You don't want to zest that part, because that's the pith. It contains a lot of bitterness, and it will ruin the flavor of the pie. And I skipped ahead. Now I'm zesting the last key lime. And again, you don't want to zest that pith, you just want to zest the outer skin. So at this point I have about a tablespoon of zest, which I'm going to use for the pie. And just gathering it all together with the spoon. And see, there is the zest that I'm going to use. Alright, so I set that aside. Now I'm bringing over a measuring cup. Next we're going to juice the key limes. And you want to make sure to save the key limes that you zest as well, because you're going to juice those once you're done zesting them. You don't want to waste any of the key limes. By the way, there may be the question of whether you can use the bigger limes that you normally see in the grocery store, which are also known as Persian limes. It is perfectly fine to use those limes. It's not recommended because technically it's not a key lime, thus it's not technically key lime pie. But it would taste just as good if you use the Persian limes as well for this. So I've already juiced the limes, and as you see, those are all of the limes that I use. So that's why I'm going to bring the bottle back on the screen. If you want to use this for convenience so you don't have to spend so much time juicing all those limes, by all means do so. So we're going to bring over the mixing bowl. I'm going to add my half cup of lime juice to the bowl. And I'm going to add one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. I use Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk for this. That's my preferred brand. And I'm going to add the tablespoon of zest. Right now I'm going to give it a good whisk until everything is combined. And then next I'm going to add 1/8 teaspoon of iodized salt. And then finally I'm going to add a half cup of plain Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt does a few things. It makes for a creamier texture, it enhances the tanginess of the pie, and then also the acidity in the Greek yogurt helps with firming up the pie filling while it's in the refrigerator. So I've given it a stir and combined everything, so now I'm going to add the filling to the pie crust since it has chilled. And once we finish adding that filling, what we're going to do, I'm going to use a spatula to spread everything around to make sure it's leveled and even. And now I'm going to place it in the refrigerator. You want to refrigerate the pie for a minimum of 3 hours. Ideally, the longer the better. So I've refrigerated the pie for 3 hours in this video. And I'm going to cut out a slice and show you what it looks like. Now with the crust being no bake, the crust is especially crumbly. So you have to be really careful when cutting out that first slice, because you may end up with a slice that's not so pretty. So there you have it. I've cut out the slice of pie and I'm going to decorate it. So I'm adding some whipped cream on top and I'm adding a lime wedge on top. And look at how creamy it is. It really doesn't get better than that. If you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.